Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this review we are looking at the Super Action Statue JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Guido, MISTA, and Sex Pistols Second, which is a very interesting name, but that's his name nonetheless, and it's an interesting looking character. If you haven't seen my other JoJo's reviews, you know that I haven't watched the show yet, but it's on my to-do list, so you don't have to recommend it. I'm going to be watching it, I just haven't watched it yet. Very interesting character designs for sure, so I'm looking forward to getting into it, but I'm not quite there yet. But this guy looks like a kind of cool figure, so let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 15 centimeters tall, which makes him just about 6 inches. A little bit tall, a little bit skinny, but that's how most of the JoJo's figures are. And it's got mostly a good paint job. It's not quite as clean as some of the other ones we've looked at, but it's not bad. You can see the zebra print looks pretty good. It's not terrible, but it definitely could be better. But it's not, it's okay. It's acceptable. For the pattern on his shirt, that's all sculpted, by the way, and painted very cleanly. That's definitely the standout part of this paint job, in addition to his helmet, which looks really cool, and they did a good job delivering on that paint job. It's very nicely done. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can see it up close. Very clean paint job. I like that a whole lot. They do a really good job with the paint for the most part. You can see on the pants, it's mostly clean. There are just a few spots that make it look not so great. There is shading throughout, whether it's on the skin or the clothes or pretty much anything. It's got a nice overall look to it. Very appealing in general. Before we get into the figure anymore, though, let's talk accessories. We have 2 interchangeable heads, one neutral head and then one with his mouth open. And then we have a bunch of different hands. We have the 2 fist hands, 2 gun-holding hands, 2 relaxed hands, one, let's call it a style pose hand, and then one hand where he's holding a bullet. So that's kind of a nice little feature. We have 3 pistols, one that's only really half of a pistol, which is meant for tucking into his pants like a gangster. We have 1 regular pistol and then one with the cylinder open. And you can see on the cylinder that there are some rounds in there. So that's kind of cool. Then we have this translucent effect part, which looks like it's got fired bullets, like mid-air bullets. You can either leave it with 3 and then have 1 single one, which can be used on its own, or you can connect the single one to the other 3 and just have 4. So you have some options there. Then we have this one really big bullet effect piece with the smoke behind it and the 2 little guys on there with the little speech bubble. We have a somewhat medium-sized bullet with a single little orange guy on there and just a little bit of a blast effect. And then we have 1 little orange guy with just a speech bubble, 1 little orange guy with nothing at all, he's just going to be by himself, and then 1 little orange guy which is made to hold on to the pistols. Then lastly, we have a display stand for the figure, which is standard, and we have a display stand for the little orange guys and the various effect parts. So this guy is loaded with options. You guys are going to have fun posing this one. So let's talk about the articulation. The head itself is on a hinged ball peg, so you can obviously move it forward and back very nicely, and then it'll move around on that ball peg for style and for functionality. The neck itself is on a single ball peg, so you can move it around, but it's pretty limited, so don't expect a whole lot. We have a ball hinge underneath this shoulder. The shoulder is not part of it, so it's a little bit limiting, but it's not too bad. You can still get the arm out fairly far, and you can rotate it around. It's not really a big deal. It's okay. You do have only a little bit of a bicep swivel, though, due to that. You can get your bicep swivel down here, though, because both of the hinges in the elbow will rotate, whether it's in the bicep or the forearm, and the elbow has really nice range. I wish more companies would do elbows like these. We have a ball hinge for the wrist, which is really nice. There's nothing really limiting that at all. For the upper torso, we have a single ball peg with really good range. You do get some gapping if you go all the way back, but if you don't go all the way back, you can just pose him really well. Very nicely done. And then his lower torso is another ball peg, so you can lean him even farther forward if you want to, or you can lean him back, or you can lean him to the side, or just rotate it around. Really, the sky's the limit with this guy, so no problems there. For the hips, it's a basic ball peg going into a socket. Let's move this back a little bit. So you can bring the leg pretty far forward, but not that far unless you rotate it around, which you may not want to do because it puts the foot crooked, but you can get it up there and then all the way out to the side. Pretty far, not too bad. And as you can see already, he has a thigh swivel underneath that. Double jointed knee, it rotates just in the thigh, not down here. You can get really good range out of it though, and it's a nice looking joint, so no problems with that. For the ankles, you can see we have a ball hinge which lets it go pretty far forward and back, and you can rotate this one around more than the average one and give yourself a really nice ankle rocker, so I like that a whole bunch. And then lastly, we have a toe hinge, which is useless because it's too floppy, but it doesn't look bad, so it's not a big deal. So ultimately, this guy, while he's not my favorite character design in the world, he comes with some awesome accessories, has some pretty good articulation, and overall a pretty clean paint job and sculpt job, so I like it a whole bunch, and I think you guys will too, so I do recommend it. I would get into this line of figures if I was you. I'm not going to do it because I would go broke because I already buy too many things and this would just add to it, but they are very nice figures and I definitely think you guys will like them. So there it is. Make sure if you liked the video you click on the thumbs up. That helps a whole bunch and I would really appreciate that. And if you're not subscribed, you might want to do that too because I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, obviously, movies and TV shows and video games, and we do unboxings and we eat food and we do all kinds of fun stuff, so make sure you come back for that, and in the meantime, keep collecting.